Hey guys, welcome back. Orbomb here. I'm really excited about this one. Eggrow in standard, thanks to the monkey boy, Monkey D. Grookey. It's our boy Rillaboom. Shout outs to this deck. I'm actually really excited about this deck profile. It was a lot of fun to play, a lot of fun to build. It's been a while since I had this much fun building a deck. I don't think I'm going to play this deck like in tournament or anything like that. I think I want to keep testing it to see if it's as good as I want it to be. But Vikavolt is back, baby, but Vikavolt is better than ever. If you guys like playing Vikavolt decks before, you're going to love playing this deck right now. The consistency this deck has is miles ahead of Vikavolt decks. But before we get into the video, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, share, all that good jazz. Don't answer the comment question today, which is going to be, do you like Vikavolt more or Rillaboom more? Just as Pokemon, not because of their abilities or anything like that. But like, which one do you like more? They both have their appeals for sure, like duck card design wise. Let me know in the comments down below. And for a chance to not only win a couple Pokemon Sword and Shield codes, but a chance to win a booster box as well, thanks to our lovely sponsors at Guardian Gaming. Don't forget to check them out. Code Orbomb for 10% off all your good card code needs. Check them out. Now, I should probably make this kind of quick before the fan turns on, because that's a lot of editing I have to do otherwise. But hope you guys. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You know, I'm just kind of here. I'm just vibing. I'm just existing. Let's just go over the deck. Just go over it. First things first. My buddy Alex calls this deck "Welcome to the Jungle." Welcome to the jungle. I shouldn't have done that, but it's fine. We're already here. We're playing the 3/3 line of the Monkey Boy, Rillaboom, banging his drum. He's a drummer. He's awesome. Once per turn. Actually, I think I don't have it on me. Never mind. My buddy Steven has the promo. I should have grabbed one off him. Once per turn, you can attach 2 grass energies from your deck to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Sound familiar? If you guys played Vikavolt, then you know. But Vikavolt is lightning and grass, which means you had to play awkward lightning and or grass energies, depending on the type of deck you were playing, right? Those are like, you don't like playing multiple kinds of energies because they don't really work well with your playstyle, but having all the same energy does make the deck a lot more consistent. Unfortunately, you have to attach to the same Pokemon, but pretty worth. You can get 2 of these, 3 of these up there, and then you can get 2 to 8 or 2 to 6 energies up a turn. Super duper strong. And now that we have energy recursion in format, that's really good. In normal rod, obviously we've had energy recycle system or energy recycler, which are good, but the versatility of normal rod is really good and really hard to pass up. And we have a lot of attackers that can abuse them. Let's go ahead and go over them. First things first, Rowet Exeggutor. I don't have a real version of this card, but it doesn't matter. Being able to use super growth to get this to evolve up your Monkey Boy as quickly as possible is super good, and it's so consistent too. You have Calming Hurricane, which does 150 and heals yourself. Pretty good if you're looking to be tanky, but more importantly, that GX attack is just so strong in this format. If this has exactly 3 extra energies attached to it, your opponent shovels all energies from their Pokemon to their deck. Super good versus Malamar builds, super good versus Pikarom, which is really relevant right now. Forcing your opponent to shuffle back in energies is a huge way to slow them down, especially versus Pikarom, right? If you can get this effect off before they use Cocoa Prism, then they are going to have a lot harder of a time setting up their board again. Really good versus Malamar, because Malamar has to dump all their energies again, which can sometimes be hard. And really good versus Zacian too, because Zacian relies on Metal Patch to set up their board. Obviously, if you can knock out the ADP, if you're playing versus ADP Zacian, if you can knock out the ADP the same time you shuffle all their energies back in, it's going to be really difficult for them to set up again. So this GX attack is so good, but beforehand was really unrealistic to pull off. But now it's so powerful because we can just easily set up our board with our Rillabooms. So as far as the other attackers go, one of my new favorite cards out of the set, Cramorant, being able to hit a 160 snipe by discarding all your energies. And if you lead it, you can get any 2 cards from your deck to your hand, which could sometimes be good as well. But it's lightning weak, so something to keep in mind. But it does have a 1 retreat and 200 HP, which is pretty good stats. And the fact that you can just snipe it to detonate whenever you want, or you're hitting things for 150 with this. If they retreat, you can finish them off with Cramorant. Honestly, might be worth playing 2 Cramorants in this deck, because the matches I have the hardest time playing are the matches that I have Cramorant prize. Cramorant is such a good, just putting it on your board and being like, hey, It exists. Forces your opponent to play around it the entire game because they know at any second if they just do a retreat and do nothing, or if they don't heal, or if they are in range, then they know that a Rillaboom can easily just boom, bam, shablam, set up a Cramorant, and all of a sudden your opponent gets knocked out no matter where they are on the board. It forces cards like Mew to be put on the bench, which is annoying for them because it's one less bench space they have to work with. I love this card, dude. I think it's another reason why this deck is so strong. And one card that I severely slept on but has its uses is Dhelmise V. Now, Dhelmise V is kind of weak. I mean, it does have 220 HP for a basic, which is pretty good. Everything else about the stats are pretty mediocre, but because its first attack is a revenge style attack, 30 plus 90 more damage if one of your Pokemon got knocked out last turn for 1 energy. No, but the reason why you play it is for that second attack. Being able to just hit 200, you can't use that attack the following turn, but just having a way to hit 200 in this deck is sometimes a big deal because sometimes they Malolana and they put themselves out of range with Cramorant or Dhelmise, or not Dhelmise, I mean, Rowet, Exeggutor, or all the other attackers, but they don't put themselves out of range of 200, and that is a big deal. So at first I was like, I'm testing this deck. I don't really like the Dhelmise. I'm probably going to take it out in my future build, but it's the situations come up more than once that hitting 200 is just too good. Not to mention you are just a 2-prize attacker as opposed to the 3-prize attacker your Rowet Exeggutor is, so it is something worth mentioning. Now, one card I like, but like not so much, is going to be my dude here, Venusaur Snivy GX. So Venusaur Snivy has an ability that if you attach an energy from this Pokemon, I think it has to be from your hand, right? Let me double check. Let me actually tell it with the camera. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, when you attach a grass energy from your hand to it, you may switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active. That ability, it's good for sure, but it never really comes up. I'm not going to lie to you. I barely ever see it come up. Its second attack does 160 for Forest Dump. It's pretty, like, sure, it's 10 more damage. You can knock out the Denes, but I never ever use it. And its second attack, Solar Plant GX, is 50 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon, which is pretty good. And if you have at least 2 energies attached to this Pokemon, heal all damage from all your Pokemon. So the reason why I like this card is for its GX attack more than anything. Being able to put 50 damage on everything can sometimes be good. This deck doesn't have a way to spread damage counters, so you're not going to be taking multiple knockouts at the same time, unless you're like mid-game and they're switching around and stuff like that, although most of the time that's never going to come into play because Cramorant's a thing. But I do like it for putting things in range of all your other attackers, which could be good sometimes, and being able to heal all your Pokemon, which, once again, I'm in the air. That's definitely... Oh, the thing is turning back on. I'll be right back, guys. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'll get lucky. Oh, dang it. The AC's turning back on. All right. I'll be back, guys. All right, guys. Once again, sorry for the cut. The fan is super loud, and there's no way for me to turn it off as far as I know. That's what happens when I'm not recording at home. Or I guess this is, whatever. Not my own house, or my old house, whatever you want to call it. But... But we were talking about Venusaur Snivy, still on the fence about it. Easily a card I could take out if I feel like there's cards that need to be taken out for other things. It's probably the first card to go, honestly. But another card that is absolutely amazing in this deck that I'm never going to get rid of is Shaman Prism Star. We all know what it does. 20 to 30 damage for each energy on the board. Can easily be built up to hit huge OHKO numbers in this deck thanks to our Rillaboom, free retreat, non-GX attacker. It's got all the good stats you want in this deck. So, Shaman, love it. I'm going to bring these cards down a little bit, actually. There's no reason for them to be that high. Yeah, that's fine. It looks ugly, but it's okay. This is the jungle after all. We are playing Mewtwo and Mew and Dragonite GX, just for the combination, so you know why. Dragonite, Mewtwo, Mew can copy Dragonite. You can also copy all of these dudes that aren't the V dudes. It's specifically just this, and I guess this as well. So it can copy this. And if you don't play this, just this and the Dragonite. But the Dragonite, it just alone is really worth, because being able to hit that 270 number versus a lot of decks is kind of important. You know how I told you that Dhelmise is good? Well, Mewtwo is good for that exact reason. Being able to OHKO things is super important in a deck like this whenever you are fighting it against a deck that also has a lot of healing factors to it, and it's just hard to power through. Being able to deal with it using a 270 hitting attack is sometimes pretty useful. Other cards we have Mew and Fion. I just like Fion. I'll always like Fion. In any of my personal builds, I will play Fion because I just think it's that good. I'm not playing the Dene, but I am still playing the Mew just because I feel like protecting my bench could be really useful because Pikarom can knock out the Rillabooms, and at some points of the game, knocking out a Rillaboom at the right turn could be really bad. But you can easily fit in a Dedenne in this deck. I just have not had a need to fit in a Dedenne. This deck is beyond consistent, and you'll see why. The ball search in this deck is insane. But other cards that you could easily play, like anything that the Mewtwo deck played that you can fit in, like the colors attackers like Mega Low Puff. What else is there? I'm not really sure about what other colors attackers there are. But the fact that you can attach this to any Pokemon, GX, non-GX, grass, not grass type, is pretty useful in its own right. As far as I know, right? I don't have the actual card on me. But yeah, you can attach, as long as they're 2 grass energies, you can attach them to any Pokemon you want. So that means you have an array of attackers that are accessible to you. Think about it as the Mewtwo box build we just went over, but obviously there's too many cards in this deck for you to make it a Mewtwo box because you don't have space for like a bunch of Mewtwo attackers. But you have space to put in one of attackers here and there that are useful to your cause. So a Ranguru could be good. I'm not playing custom catchers in this build. I just haven't really found the need to, because we have access to such powerful sniping. But I don't know, maybe, and I like Fiona as well, and we still have great catchers, so. But that's gonna be that for the Pokemon. You guys can let me know what other attackers you think are interesting in this deck. I'm actually interested. This is my first draft of the build, or first draft, quote unquote, right? This is my first day playing the build, but I played this build for like 4 hours. So this is what I came up with after like around 4 hours of testing. Now, as far as the supporters go, we are playing 4 Professor's Research because, you know, it's just too good not to play. What can I say? You know, the lighting in this room is really good. I just wish there wasn't a fan that turned on every 30 minutes because it does make recording very difficult. 2 Marnies, you're gonna easily increase that count. I think it's such a good card. Honestly, I'm thinking about getting me 3 or 4 full arts if I have the money around the time to get them, because they're probably gonna be super expensive. But like, this card is just so good. It's just so good. It never hurts to play a bunch of them. 2 Cynthia Caitlins and 2 Malolana. Let me put them actually on this side and bring you down. Just a little tag call engine. We still play the Malolanas because healing in this deck is super strong, and Cynthia Caitlin is just a easy way to get yourself draw supporters in case you don't draw any of these. But if you feel like you don't need to find the Cynthia Caitlins, you can easily dump both of these out and put in 2 more Marnies if you think Marnie is just better. I like being able to reuse my Malolanas though, which is why I like Cynthia Caitlins a little bit more, and we are playing tag calls in this deck. So being able to get a draw supporter, even if it's a weak one, off a tag call is pretty good as well. I just love the tag call engine. Now, here's probably my favorite part of the deck. The fact that we have 4 nest balls, not only as a way for us to get more Pokemon on the board, but also a way for us to get energies. Having manual attachments is still kind of important because, like, for instance, Cramorant, right? Cramorant needs 3 energies, so it's 1 Rillaboom plus a manual attachment, and that can attack. Pretty much actually every attacker in this deck needs at least 3 energies to attack, except for Shaman, but to increase your damage output, you want to have an extra energy support. So having Netball as a way to get you any of your grass basics, which is really important for getting yourself turn 1 Eggrow into evolving a Grookey, which is like the whole thing. That's all you want to do turn 1. Maybe get a manual attachment in there, but like that's less important than evolving up a Grookey turn 1, because once you have one turn 1, you're set for the whole game pretty much. But we're not done there. Like I said, that combo is super important. So we're going to go ahead and play 4 quick balls too. We're going to go ahead and just go all in with the ball search because it's so important for our board setup to be as consistent as possible for this deck to run at its maximum efficiency, that I am okay with cutting a few spaces and cutting out. I mean, like, this deck doesn't really need much just to easily be able to play 4 tag quick balls. But we're not done there. We got 3 tag calls too. This is a good way for us to get our Rowlet Exeggutor, as well as our Malolanas and our Cynthia Caitlins and our Mewtwo Mews and Venusaur Snivy and just a bunch of good stuff. Now, I do like the quick balls in this deck. I could see you cutting the tag calls if you want to. But the quick balls and the nest balls, I think you got to keep. Being able to get multiple Pokemon turn 1, just being able to get up your whole board turn 1 is really, really good. And, you know, it's a way to search out your Cramorant and stuff like that, and your Fion and your Mew that could be useful sometimes. So I do think the ball search is the reason why I like this deck so much. The fact that we have access to so much good search cards is what keeps this deck rolling and being as consistent as possible. 2 switches. Now, the cards that I've been talking about maybe cutting, do it and easily put in 2 more switches, because switch is just so strong in this deck list. That's the one thing I'm gonna try out more later. Cut out the Venusaur Snivy is the only thing that I'm like on the fence about right now. So the first cut I'm going to do is probably when I get a chance, if I can find another switch, is play a third switch and cut out the Venusaur Snivy, because switching around is so important. Like I mentioned earlier, you want to get that turn 1 Rowlet Exeggutor, so having multiple copies of switch is pretty good. Not to mention, preserving your energies on the board is just good for Shaman, and yeah, and just keeps you having attackers and stuff like that. You can easily retreat in this deck. Like, this deck has no problems retreating thanks to Rillaboom and being able to access a bunch of energies. But there's actually a few cards I want to play in this deck. But I guess we'll keep going. But I will mention this real quick. If you're looking for another way to get out a bunch of Rillabooms really easily, maybe like put in a few rare candies here and there. Because there's like, usually what I do is raw eggs turn 1. Use Relics turn 1 to set up a Rillaboom, and then I start hitting with it. So I'm actually not evolving up a second Rillaboom. I'm doing that manually as I play the game, which usually happens. It just takes a little bit longer, and sometimes I wish I had a second one turn 2 or 3, and that's where rare candy could sometimes come into play. I think it's too inconsistent because we don't have a way to search the rare candy, so I don't bother with it, but it is something worth mentioning at the very least. If you play that, I could definitely see you playing a Ranguru, so you can at least do a little bit better of trying to get that combo if you're going to be playing things like Professor Research to dump your hand, preserve a rare candy, or a Rillaboom, one or the other. Although preserving the Rillaboom isn't as necessary because we do have access to 2 normal rods. Now, normal rods are a shuffle, a combination of 4 cards, as long as 2 of them are energy and 2 of them are Pokemon. So you can get 2 energies back in your deck and 2 Rillabooms back in your deck, but you can't get like 3 energies in one Rillaboom. It has to be 2 of each, with a combo for a total of 4, and you can do up to, so you don't actually have to shuffle anything as long as you shuffle in 1 card. It's really handy in case you're trying your best not to deck out, but you need exactly 1 card. That up to is really important. But anyways, 2 normal rods is great because that means that you have a lot of energies in your deck. Even if something gets knocked out, you can shuffle back in energies. And of course, if you have to dump out some Rillaboom pieces or some attackers for whatever reason, you can always put them back out, which is, it's just so good if you're playing a research, if you're playing 4 researches as well. 2 great catchers because it's just a good card, and 1 reset stamp and 1 life forest as my stadium of choice. Not many other stadiums I really care about playing in this deck, but life forest is just a good card and reset stamp is just a good card. So what can I say? But that's going to be it for the trainer cards. This is probably my favorite part of the deck, is the fact that we have essentially 11 turn 1 ball search cards. In fact, you know what you know what I didn't do in the last, I should have done this in the last video, but I'm actually going to do that thing I was talking about earlier. And as far as the energies go, this video is pretty short anyways. 3, 6, 6, I promise. 9, 12. We have 12 energies. I said the number 12. You guys are here. You guys can hear me say it. But I'm going to go ahead and shuffle. Oh, by the way, shout out to Salty Joe for giving me these sleeves forever ago. This is actually the first time. I was actually running out of sleeves to use for videos. And I don't really like opening these Lucario sleeves because, like, you know, they're Lucario, man. They're my second favorite Pokemon. It was a gift from a subscriber. But I was like, you know what? I should play with these. I don't like that they're just sitting on my shelf. I should play some games with those. And at the point wherever they're like too gross to like play with anymore, I'm just gonna go ahead and pack them all back into the packet and then let them sit on my shelf after that. But that was my mentality. So shout out to you, Salty Joe. Dude, I swear, I have some of the nice subscribers. They always send me random stuff. Like, for instance, I know a lot of people are always just like, oh, Orbomb's always complaining that he's poor, but he has all these secret rares. But little do you guys know, thanks to people like Ty, old friend of mine, he hasn't been around in a while, but Joe, a lot of other people as well. I'm sorry if I'm not shouting here out. There's too many people to shout out. But those are the 2 that I remember the most because they do it all the time. They used to just mail me, like straight up mail me gifts. A lot of gifts include some pretty expensive secret rares that they pulled that they don't play because they don't play with secret rares kind of thing. Or they just want to help expand my collection because back then I was collecting. But shout out to you guys. Anyways, I think I'm done shuffling. Let's go ahead and go over this. So let's take a look at our hand here. Of course, I didn't do like a particular, actually, you know what I could do real quick, since everyone complains about this and this is like a hot topic, we can riffle shuffle. There's nothing too expensive in this deck. I personally don't like riffle shuffling because I don't like bending expensive cards, but like we'll just do like 2 or 3 riffles, or that should be enough. We did a bunch of shuffling already. All right, cool. Let's just draw a few cards here. Not the best opening hand, but if we go first, there's not... Actually, this hand sucks if we go first. Not going to lie to you. Put out some prizes. Doesn't matter what they are. We'll see how bad it is, right? If we're going first, simple Cramorant, right? And we draw for turn, of course. Ooh, that's much better. If we're going first, that's already amazing, because now we can easily get out Rowet Exeggutor and just put it down while we can. And anything else, probably a Pokemon that we're going to dump, to be honest. I guess in this case, it could be Venusaur Snivy, because we're just going to use, what's it called, next turn. You can also get another Rowet Exeggutor. You don't mind dumping Pokemon, because at the very least you have the normal rod to put it back in the deck if you need to. So, opening turn, definitely not bad. If we're going second, let's see. Like, we're going to continue this turn as if we were going second, but let's see. Wait, hold on. There we go. Yeah, we're going to continue this turn as if we were going second. Now, unfortunately, you are losing the reset stamp, and this is where I was talking about earlier, where like you could easily play a Rangaroo in here, and then you can put things back on top of your deck. Of course, it doesn't really work too much. I guess I should probably do like that, right? Because we didn't get a quick ball or anything like that. But if we were going second, boom, already we have access to a... Ooh, this is actually really good, because we can easily get... Actually, it'd be so much better if we had one more Ball Search. It'd be so good if we had just one more Ball Search card. But Quick Ball, attach, retreat into this. Quick Ball away. We already lost one Rillaboom, right? This is actually good because we can take this turn to see if we have any Rillabooms prized. We'll get rid of you though, I think, because we can't really get rid of anything else in this hand. I want to keep this just in case, and because if we have a Rillaboom prize, we're gonna want to shuffle back in the Rillaboom anyways. But we can go ahead, get this, and we'll see. Rillaboom's prized. Is it prized? Is it actually prized? No, it's there. Okay, it's in the deck. If it was prized, we can easily just normal rod shuffle back in the Rillaboom and the dude that we just dumped. And also another thing to keep track of, just in case, is if the middle dude is if our Thwackey is prized. Because if a Thwackey is prized, that's bad too. Okay, we got both of them. No need to shuffle because we're about to use the attack, and that's it, right? We just go ahead and attack. And the cool thing about this combination of both attacking, we're thinning 2 cards out of our deck, which means our top decks are a little bit stronger. And then every time Rillaboom uses the ability, we're thinning 2 more cards out of the deck. Ideally, all we want next turn is to get another, because like we don't have, unless we get a manual attachment, I guess we could start attacking. Ideally, we get like a draw supporter though, right? But if he hits us, we could very easily, like if he hits us next turn, right? We draw for turn. Oh, we got a manual attachment. We got Shaman, and we can easily Malolana, dump this hand, and do this. We can attack, I guess, because we don't have a draw supporter. So we can go ahead and just use this dude real quick. Or we could even attack with this if we're looking to snipe like a Dedenne or something. But we can easily just go ahead and start setting up a Calming Hurricane into a Tropical Hour play. So, as you can see, we have already with actually a pretty bad start for this deck. Like, it's been pretty mediocre. We already have a really, really good board setup. And of course, turn 3, we draw this dude, boom, we can evolve up into him, or we could just play the game like normal, keep attacking, keep setting up. We could set up this, because like the board, like we already have a pretty decent board state. We're not drawing a draw supporter though, or tag call or anything, as you can see. That's the weird part, but I guess we would have kept shuffle drawing. Let's do one more. I want to do like a handful of these before the video ends. Actually, ideally just 2 or 3, but just so I can show you how consistent the deck really is. Like with a really bad start, like I need you guys to know that start comparatively is pretty mediocre. Obviously, this is a deck that has a lot of evolution pieces, so there's definitely worse starts we could have, but on average, our starts are a lot better than this. So we're gonna go ahead and try to showcase one right now. I should probably shuffle on screen, but everything's really awkward right now. Also, I just bent the chair I'm sitting on. All right, let's see if we can get a Pokemon. And mulligan, no big deal. No biggie. Still haven't drawn a nest ball yet, so let's see if we can draw one of those. Okay. Oh, that's pretty bad actually. That's why I don't like the Venusaur Snivy. That's actually a lot better now. Unless, of course, one of our dudes are prized. Oh, we got a lot of these boys. But let's go ahead. Oops. Oh, my Cramorant's prized. It's the end of the days. It's the end of days, guys. Play a second Cramorant. It's prized. This is actually really good, actually, because we got that switch. So we can do that. We can attack call. Now, if we were going first, easy, just like get this. Get a Cynthia K once we have a draw supporter for next turn, I guess. Just in case. If we're going first and we can't use the support this turn, we just attach an energy, switch, and pass. I think I play the hard switch here so I can keep the manual attachment on me. Or not. Depends on how I feel about it. Depends on how you feel about it, honestly. But I like to slowly stack up energies on this thing so I can use my Tropical Hour. Because that's just a busted GX attack. So if it was turn 2... Oh, I need to check the deck. So if I were a tournament... Don't do this, obviously. But if I were at a tournament, I would know. I gotta check if there's at least one Thwacky and one... Okay, there is. So I can, at the very least, I can attack and evolve up the dude. Because we have 2 in our hand, which is not great. But anyways, if it was turn 2, you can go ahead and play the rest of this turn like it was turn 2. Just good practice. Do this, discard that. Nothing back in my hand, but I can draw 3. Not too much great. I would attack, and once again, just kind of like mediocre. But we're able to get up our combo every turn now. So at least we're showcasing that part. It is really annoying that the one time I want to do this is the one time that I am not... wrong Pokemon. Is I am not getting the busted starts that I'm getting in the videos. So that's turn 2, or turn 1 if we're going second. Then we draw for turn, and oh, okay, there we go. It is a bit unfortunate, and I'm going to go ahead and use my ability first, because... Actually, I'm going to use my ability first, but I'm not going to manually attach. Just to thin my deck. 2 more cards, so when I'm playing this research that I just drew, I can draw better combo pieces. This sucks, but I do have access to two rods, so drawing into the rods like I just did shouldn't be that big of a deal. 5, 6, 7. We can play this down. We could evolve up into another one because we just drew the rod. We can play this. Manually attach, I guess, to the Delmise, right? Play down the Delmise, manually attach to it. Super Rod. Back some combo pieces. 1, 2, and 2 energies, because having energies in the deck is really good. Use, actually we can't use our ability this turn. And we can either attack with Calming Hurricane, or we can evolve up this dude. I'm not really sure, depending on like the board state, I guess, or your opponent's board state, whatever. That would be what you could decide off that. If you evolve up to this dude, you could easily get your GX attack turn 2. You have a manual attachment in hand though, so you don't really need to do that. But we draw, whatever. Overall though, as you can see, getting up that GX attack turn 2, turn 3 is so easy in this deck. Every game, every turn, we've been able to get the turn 1 evolving up into our dude with no issues, no concerns. Alright guys, sorry for the cut. The fan did turn back on, but I'm just going to go ahead and end the video here. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate all of you. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, share, all that good jazz. It's been fun. I think this deck is great. I think this deck is really fun to play. If you're looking for a fun deck to play in Sword and Shield, there's a few Rillabooms. Everything else is pretty much already out, as far as I'm aware, besides Marnie, I guess, and Cramorant. The boy Cramorant, and Delmise. So maybe a few extra cards, but you only need a handful of cards to make a really fun deck. So, I guess check it out. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, share all the good jazz, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.